Hey you guys, it's me again. I've just played my first game with the Old Benoni against a real live flesh and blood human being, and it's an absolute cracker. I mean, I don't even have words. So this is an unrated game. I picked it off the custom challenges, which is the way that I do things. The way that I learn an opening is I'll watch a few videos, I'll make some notes, then I'll play against the computer a bunch of times, update my notes, see what the computer plays. But the computer doesn't play the same way that human beings do, with all flesh and blood and emotions and all that kind of stuff. So then the next step is to go on and try it against genuine human beings. And so it makes sense to start with unrated if you want to do it that way. So I picked up this one. My opponent's rated 11-14, so he's no slouch, right? He's not an idiot, but he gets absolutely slaughtered. Just check this out. This is just so much fun. So I'm going, please play d4, please play d4, please play d4. d4, c5, the Old Benoni defense. Looks kind of innocent, but it all very quickly goes horribly wrong. Now bishop b4 on move 2, I didn't prepare this. However, if you saw my first video about the Old Benoni, right, I think this guy's a London player, because he's just thrown his bishop out there, right? So basically, if they do anything other than capture the pawn or advance, which is the better move, that's not a very good move, then you take the pawn, okay? And what does he do next? Queen takes. Now it'd be great to be able to push this, but that pawn's not defended. So knight to c6 hits the queen. And this is just the beginning of Hunty's world of pain. Queen c5. Looks reasonable. But now check this out. I found this move, right? Nearly 30 seconds thinking about this one. Double attack on move 4, right? Pawn to e5. The pawn hits the bishop hits the queen, okay? One of them's going to leave the board very soon. Red card, off you go. Please leave the field. Now you might think that queen to e3 is playable. That would be a very sensible move, right? Queen to e3 pins the pawn, so the pawn can't take the bishop. Not going to happen, yeah? But if queen there, I found, what did I find? Then I have, for example, I can play my knight here or here, right? Looking at c2, and c2 would be a fork, if I can get it, on the king and the queen. So white would have to stop me doing that. So maybe, I don't know, queen here, knight to there. Queen would have to come here, something like that. But anyway, what does my opponent do? Queen to b5. I get the bishop up 3 points. Okay, move 5. Pretty cool. Queen comes back up. Now I hit the queen and also looking at c2. So there's only so many squares the queen can go to where she can still protect c2. And I think those are the ones. I think they are. The queen moves to d2. Good move, right? Protecting this pawn, kind of looking at this pawn, but she can't capture that pawn because I come in there and win the rook, yeah? So, knight to f6. So now I'm preparing to advance my pieces and cause this lady some grief. f3. Very good move, sensible move, preventing the knight from coming here and hassling the queen. And now queen to b6. Okay, and I'm kind of eyeing up this idea, kind of eyeing up this pawn here. Maybe think about bringing my bishop out. Okay, it's all just going Pete Tom. Knight to h3 now. My opponent is spotting what I want to do. He's protecting the f2 square. Right, very, very sensible. But it doesn't stop there. d5 now. So, can I remember the purpose of this move? Well, it's releasing this bishop, so yeah. So the idea is I'm going to grab that knight off on h3 and renew my attentions to the f2 square. So knight now grabs this pawn. Okay. Queen to c6, adding more support to the knight's ambitions against c2. Knight comes in, which attacks my knight, but he's missed the threat. Knight takes c2, check, with a fork on the king and the rook. So king has to move. Okay, I grab the rook. Now, I did think about bringing out the bishop, say, bishop to here, knight takes bishop there. We might end up swapping off queens. I'll win the rook anyway, it don't really matter. And now e4. And queen to b6 with check, so the king, the knight can't defend because it just gets took. So the king's going to have to move to one of these squares. Where does the king go? e2. Now I grab the pawn in the middle. I want to open up space around the king. Pawn captures. I've got options here as well. I mean, I could have captured the pawn with my knight and hit the queen there. But this is just one of those games where you just want the ground to open up and swallow you up if you're white. Okay, but bishop out with check. More forcing. King now retreats to e1. Now I grab the pawn and hit the queen. Now the queen comes here. I mean, how many safe squares are there for the queen? I don't know. There are a few. Can't go there. I don't know. But anyway, forced blunder. So I could have, so the queen's there. I also actually had knight coming back to c2 with a fork on the king and queen with check, which would have just been horrible. If knight had gone there, I think that's actually checkmate even. I think that might have been checkmate, but I grabbed the queen anyway in my excitement with check. Knight captures, queen captures, knight to here, and checkmate. 19 moves, boom. So, not so old, this Benoni, huh? It's old in name only, but what an absolute arse-kicking. I mean, do you know what? If I'm going to get games like this, guys, that is an opening, isn't it? Wow. It's going to be right up there, I can't even catch my breath. Anyway, so I'm off for a lie down. Might even have to crack a beer after that one. So, if you fancy something interesting and novel against white playing d4 on the first move, especially if they're a London player and they go, I don't know what to do here. I'm just going to go back to my default and whip out my bishop and then my queen, and then boom. It's all downhill, really, from just about move 2 for white. So there you go. Give it a try. Let me know how you get on. And I'm done for the day. Right, see you, chaps.